Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Teo here, back with more Ever17, the Out of Infinity. Don't have much to say here before I get into the action, just that some kind soul let me know that I should probably take a glance at the flowchart before I decide that I'm doing my first run without it. And I looked at the flowchart, and it's disgusting. I don't know who made this game, but I want to take them and, like, beat them over the head with a stick or something. Long story short, is I'm going to be using the flowchart effective immediately, because otherwise it's going to take me actually 3 lifetimes to get all the endings. But with that little piece of bookkeeping out of the way, let's get into the game. Good morning, everyone. Did you sleep well? Thanks to somebody, I was up all night. Huh? You didn't sleep a wink? Nope, because of this idiot. You lifted her foot and kicked Takeshi, who was lying on the bed. Ah yes, graffitied to the nines. Yeah. I'd like a perm, please. Takeshi was still dreaming. It looked like Sora had noticed the graffiti and was trying to keep from exploding with laughter. What happened to his face? We got so mad. We took turns drawing on him. We scribbled the night away with this marker. Saying that, you laughed loudly. Even so, maybe you went a little too far. No, we didn't sleep at all because of this noisy beast. It's poetic justice. So Sora, hold off on telling him for a while, alright? You mean, you want me to pretend that I don't notice? That's it. Yeah, it's all white curlies, yeah. Enough of that. Sora, what about the decompression? You're all done, of course. Is there anyone that feels ill? I feel fine. Me too. Well, we were up all night, so I feel groggy. And Takeshi? Just look at him. Math, social studies, science, English class, music. I can't play that. Alright, everyone. I would like to have you all gathered in the control room at once. I'll go on ahead. Has anything happened? I'll tell you all about it in the control room. Now, if you'll excuse me. Sora ducked and left the pressurization chamber. Sora's face as she left was devoid of humor. Uh-oh. We got Takeshi up and made for the control room. Sarah was next to me. Ahead, you and Takeshi were talking about something as they walked. I couldn't quite make out what they were saying. Eventually, Takeshi slowed down, separated from you, and came back to us. Hey, you got any idea what you's all miffed about? Who knows? You don't have any ideas? If I did, do you think I'd be asking you? You told me to look in the mirror. Oh, you told me to look in the mirror, but again with the stupid intonation on you's name. Huh? What? That's no fun. When Sarah said that, it seemed like Takeshi finally figured it out. He wiped his face with his hand. What's this? He stared at the black ink on the palm of his hand. Damn that girl. Clicking his tongue, Takeshi hurried back up ahead to you. Sarah and I laughed as we watched Takeshi and you exchange words. Tsugumi was in front of the control room. She was leaning against the wall, her arms folded and facing down. Morning. Morning. With our greetings, Tsugumi slowly raised her head. Hey, Tsugumi, where'd you go last night? Are you alright? Sora was telling us about when there is a sudden change in air pressure. The bends? I know. Don't worry about me, I'm fine. Huh? Flashed through my mind. It seemed like something about Tsugumi had changed from the day before. Maybe it was loneliness, but her attitude and way of talking had been toned down. Are you really fine? Yeah. Let's get inside. Sora is waiting for us. At Tsugumi's urging, Sarah and I entered the control room. I'm sorry that I had to have you gather so early. There was no other way. Actually, everyone, there's something I need to tell you right away. Sora paused for a second. Sora looked over all 5 of us. You, Sarah, Tsugumi, Takeshi, and finally me. The cooling fan whirred away in the silence. Occasionally, the sound of metal on metal would ring through the room. The 5 of us waited on Sora's next words. Last night, after the 4 of you, apart from Tsugumi, entered the pressurization chamber, I was in the control room here thinking about ways to escape or contact the outside. And? While I was checking the internal status of Limu, I discovered something. You found a way to escape? No. Then a way to contact the outside? Not yet. Then what did you figure out? Man, I was really hoping that they would have Takeshi's sprite here be, like, all inked up. That would have been funny. I discovered the strength of pressure the bulkheads can withstand. I found their limits. Saying that, Sora turned her eyes to the side of the console. In the darkness, a three-dimensional image of Limu sprung up. Pressure bulkhead. What? I mean Limu's walls, the partitions between the outer seawater and the inner air. What do you mean when you say you found the limit? Like I said yesterday, Limu is a structure basically constructed on a saturation diving specification design. In other words, the internal air pressure equals or is greater than the external water pressure. However, the complex's internal air pressure is currently at 1 atmosphere. Therefore, Limu's outer shell is constantly being subjected to severe water pressure. Correct. But Limu is not constructed to endure this situation for a long period of time. Inevitably it will, at some point, reach its limit. Well put, you. So, when is this limit? According to Lemma's calculations, in 119 hours, or 5 days from now, right? We stared in tandem at Tsugumi. You're well informed. Did you look that up on the security office terminal? It is exactly as Tsugumi says. The estimated time of implosion is approximately 4:30 AM on May 7th. Of course, it is only a calculation and there is a margin of error. Plus or minus 12 hours. Is that the margin of error? That is correct, but... That pushed us into silence. It seemed like everyone was lost in thought. We knew for sure that we were in serious trouble. Yet, that's putting it lightly. Sora's words had shaken us a bit. But 5 days sounded like a long time and it didn't really register with me. I'm not gonna lie, if I was told that, like, my apartment complex would explode in 5 days and also I couldn't leave it, I would be a little bit put out. Like, 5 days doesn't sound that long in that context, right? I kept thinking that a rescue team would arrive at any time, so I didn't feel like it was worth worrying about. Sora, can I summarize what you said to make sure I got it? At 4:30 AM on May 7th, the walls of Limu will reach the limit of the pressure that they can handle. But that might happen at 4:30 PM on the 6th, or at 4:30 PM on the 7th. Is that right so far? Yes. So doesn't the opposite also hold true? I mean, at the worst, Limu will be fine until 4:30 PM on May 6th. So we're fine until then and have nothing to worry about. We can't be absolutely certain that we'll be safe. But judging from the results of Lemma's calculations, that would appear to be the case. Oh, so that's it. So as long as help comes by the 6th, then we're okay? I see. If you had said that we only have one more day or something, I might have burst out crying. So we still have lots of time. Someone will surely come to help us before that. The tension in the air broke and sighs of relief could be heard around the room. Tsugumi, having gotten the information somewhere before us, was smiling to herself, smugly. It was 5:50 AM. Ew, God, 5:50 AM? Why are they all awake? Takeshi gave a large yawn. Sarah and I sat cross-legged on a bench in the rest area. The floor was covered in water. It was good. I'll say. We just polished off our fried chicken sandwiches. Oh baby, chicken sandwiches! That Takeshi had made for us. As for the other four, Sora was, as usual, cooped up in the control room trying to make contact with Lemma. Tsugumi had vanished without saying where she was going. Takeshi had gone to deliver sandwiches to Sora and Tsugumi. He was changing clothes. Apparently she had spilled something on them while eating. Fortunately, her normal clothes were safe in the changing room in the dry area. Hey, I'm full now. Why don't we play a game? A game? Settle down there, Jigsaw. Yeah, the Yamanote line game, or a word game. I know, rock, paper, scissors charades. What? Rock, paper, scissors charades? That doesn't make any sense. Are you supposed to, like, act out one of the three things? Like, oh, my arms are over my head, I'm a rock. Like, I'm lying flat on the ground, I'm a paper. I'm super confused. We play and the winner gets to choose something. And then the loser has to mimic it, okay? See, that's much less funny than what I had in mind. Ready? Jung, Ken, Pong. Come on, put your hand out. I haven't said that I'm going to play. And what is that Jung, Ken, Poi? What do you say when you play rock, paper, scissors? And as to whether or not you're going to play, you are! Who said you could decide? Be quiet. Now let's play. Not doing anything is boring, right? Oh, alright. He seems so, like, obedient there. He's like, oh, well, if you say so. That's more like it. Okay, here we go. Ready? Jung, Ken, Poi. I was paper and Sarah went scissors. Ha! I win! So I pick salmon. What? Salmon? You mean like a fish? Yup. Let's see it. salmon. Salmon. Salmon, 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 salmon. I opened and closed my mouth like a fish, gyrating my hips around and doing my best to become a salmon. Sarah was laughing and holding her stomach. It looked like I'd been a good salmon. That's an exciting sentence. Alright, now I'm warmed up. Let's go again. Ready, Jung, Ken, point. I went scissors and Sarah was paper. Oh, I lost. Don't give me a weird one, okay? Please, please. I decided to make her act like... What? I'm not sure what to make of this. Alright, Caesar. Caesar, please. How can I be Caesar, you idiot? I don't know, pretend you're getting stabbed by Brutus or something. I don't think there's anyone who can become him. Those are the rules. Hey, no way. Although, in fairness, you're not allowed to, like, talk in charades, right? So you can't just say, et tu, Brute? And, like, collapse. Because that's probably the intuitive way to do Caesar, right? Then, Sarah Matsunaga, become Caesar. My name is Caesar. Doth you, Hamlet, defy you, Lord? Et tu, my friend Hamlet. Lend me some ears. Not in my empire. That's... And it's war. Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up. I'm so confused right now. Oh, my stomach hurts. It really hurts. You're too funny. You don't have to laugh that much. But because that wasn't Caesar, but a mixed up Hamlet. And then, what are you doing? You appeared in your changed clothes. We're playing rock, paper, scissors charades. Playing rock, paper, scissors charades? Sounds fun. Can I play? Why would you, like, intentionally opt into this? Like, isn't it just better value to, like, watch two people play it? Because then you get the upside of, like, watching people do dumb stuff without having the downside of having to do dumb stuff, right? Sure? Sarah, explain the rules to you. Okay, I got it. Alright then, let's play. Ready? Jung, Ken, point. Just then, the lights illuminating the room started to flicker. Uh-oh. That's not ideal. Instinctively, we looked to the ceiling. Listening carefully, I heard a sound like the rumble of thunder far away. What could that be? Stormy waves formed in the water pooled on the floor, I think is what that line is supposed to be. The walls and ceilings trembled slightly. Metal screeched on metal. No, it couldn't be. Couldn't be what? Doesn't that sound a lot like when the water that flooded in yesterday? The blood appeared to drain from the faces of you and Sarah in the flickering light. Immediately after that, we were blanketed in darkness. Uh-oh. The tremors and sound stopped, but an eerie silence filled the arena. Only the emergency lights showed weakly. A blackout. It's a blackout. What about everyone else? Where are Takeshi, Tsugumi, and Sora? Tsugumi and Sora... Well, where'd Tsugumi? Sarah and I shook our heads in the darkness. Anyway, let's go looking for Takeshi and Tsugumi. And Sora? Sora is... Let's not worry about her for now. What? I'll tell you later. Looking for those two is top priority right now. You started running. Sarah and I followed her without knowing what was going on. Until we arrived in front of the control room. The power was out, so the door didn't open automatically. You pulled the lever next to the door and opened it manually. The three of us went inside. Takeshi! Tsugumi! If you are there, then answer! You shouted out into the darkness. I wondered why she was only calling out to Takeshi and Tsugumi. Sora! Sora! I called to Sora, but there was no answer. Sora could have been here. Sora should have been here. I wonder where she could have gone. You had picked up a flashlight at some point. I imagined she had gotten it somewhere in the control room. You turned it on. A white circle of light appeared on the wall. You shined the flashlight right and left, lighting up all corners of the room. The electrical system was completely down. Like an abandoned castle, there was no sign of warmth left. There was clearly nobody there. It doesn't seem like there's anyone here. We left the room. Can you carry this? You handed me the flashlight and shut the control room door. Just then, splash, splash, splash. We heard the sounds of somebody running towards us through water. After a short while, two figures emerged from the darkness. Oh, Takeshi! Tsugumi! Takeshi and Tsugumi approached, walking through water. Hey, have you seen Sora? I thought she was in the control room. It was empty. Really? Takeshi used the manual lever to open the door. He looked inside. You want a flashlight? Yeah, thanks. Takeshi took the flashlight, turned it on, and went into the room. Jeez, where would Sora go at a time like this? Takeshi said that when he emerged from the control room. So, what are we going to do? You said this calmly. It had been a series of emergencies since the day before. Maybe we were all completely used to it. In any case, none of us were freaking out. Seems like a depressing thing to get used to, so quickly. For now, all we can do is split up and look for Sora. Without Sora, we won't know why there's been this blackout. Yeah, Sora knows more about Limu than anyone. Sora... Maybe it's time. Since it's come to this, I'll tell you. I don't think we'll find Sora, even if we look. She was a figment of our imaginations! Huh? What? Why not? I can't tell you the reason. Well, that's boring. What if I really want you to tell the reason? What if I asked really nicely? That's something you should hear from Sora herself. What? Ah? Anyway, just take my word for it. You don't have to worry. Sora is just fine. And she'll come back for sure. Come back? You ignored my question. So, I guess that's probably related to the questionably changing numbers. If there is a person who is supposedly leaving and coming back, that does at least some amount, that does to at least some degree explain why the number was fluctuating. Doesn't explain why it's fluctuating from 5 to 7, but at least it gets us halfway there, right? I see. So, what are you planning on doing? I think we should try to get to the generator room. The generator room? I figured that the cause of this blackout is trouble in the generator room. Seems plausible. That reminded me of something Sora had said the day before. Limu didn't receive any power from the outside, but had an in-house generating system. There was a thermal seafloor vent where hot water was pumped from out of the seabed and heat from it was used to operate the generators. Tsugumi, you'll come along, won't you? Sorry, but I'm not up for it. What? I'm not going. If you want to go, be my guest. Saying that, Tsugumi left. What is her problem? It didn't look like that it would be any use calling after her. Jeez, I have no clue what is going on in that girl's head. Oh well, the 4 of us will have to go. Naku, where's the generator room? The generator room is here, in Drite stock. Alright, let's get a move on. You, can you lead the way? Takeshi started walking toward the corridor. Hey Takeshi, where do you think you're going? Where? To the generator room, of course. It's your idea to start with, right? And just how do you intend to get there? Huh? By walking through the corridors, dummy. Oh, please. You really don't get anything, do you? Huh? What's that supposed to mean? Hey, you. I don't think I get it either. Me neither. You guys don't remember the map of Limu we saw yesterday? I'm gonna be honest, I cannot say I in any particular detail remember the map of Limu we saw yesterday. Map. Oh, you mean the 3-story map that had the area split into 2 areas? Oh, that's right. You remember it too, Takeshi? Craftwork. I can't say I remember it exactly, but kinda, yeah. And what was between those 2 areas? Between them? How am I supposed to know? I don't think that there was anything. So we have to cut through the 2nd floor. Not the end of the world. Probably. I don't know what the route's supposed to look like. Exactly. Which means the 2 areas are divided by a block which is now underwater. So we can't go directly from the control room area to the generator room area. Beside that, the emergency stairs of one of those areas was also flooded. Meaning what? Wait, can we just not get there? Oh, I get it. To get to the generator rooms area, we have to access the 2nd floor. And the only way we can do that is by using the neutral buoyancy elevator. Wait, neutral or natural? Correct. So we have to go to the elevator to the neutral buoyancy elevator, to the entrance to the neutral buoyancy elevator. That's right. Alright, we have a plan. Now chop chop, let's go. Now that you got it, let's get going. Ready, set, go! Ninja! What? That's the weirdest catchphrase. Sarah took a bizarre kung fu pose and started spinning like a top. But I had no clue what she was trying to do. Yeah, me neither. Before going for repairs, we had to secure tools. When the four of us ascended from White Stock, we stopped by the warehouse first. Fortunately, we found the tools we needed right away. Pliers, a spanner, a screwdriver, hammer, a small welding machine, etc., etc. We packed all the tools we imagined we might need into a toolbox and headed for the neutral buoyancy elevator. So come to think of it, like, I wonder if Sora's strange disappearance here is related to the fact that she does not seem to be suffering from the bends, and also doesn't seem to be concerned about, like, suffering from the bends. Like, I'm still not sure what Tsugumi's deal is there, but Sora, like, something weird is going on with her. I really hope it doesn't end up being something, like, super weird, like she's a hologram, but that's, like, sort of the ballpark that my thoughts are drifting towards at the moment. The neutral buoyancy elevator, EI. EI meant egg in German, no, not EI, A. It was also a literal take on the egg-shaped elevator that traveled up and down rails into the ocean on the sides of Limu. A ballast tank was attached to the floor. It would take in and release seawater from the tank as necessary to increase or reduce buoyancy, making the elevator rise or sink. It's kinda clever. Once we were inside, we sealed the watertight doors on the Limu side of the elevator. All we had to do was release the lock connecting us to Limu, and the egg would sink away. You pulled the operating lever next to the door. Nothing happened. Awkward. What's going on? We're not sinking at all. No, it doesn't seem like it. You think it's because the power's out? No, the A elevator is a neutral buoyancy elevator, so it basically doesn't require outside power. But it does need power for the intake and release of water from the ballast tank. This is the only time it needs power. But we're in the blackout right now. Wait, so you have this, like, complex system for your elevator that doesn't require power, but it still requires power. Awkward. So there's no way to control the ballast valve. Is that the problem? Yes. Oh, great. So that means we can't move this thing at all, then. Stupid. That's wrong. You're supposed to be a college student? Well, excuse me. So put in terms I can understand. I mean, I'm also supposed to be a college student, right? Unfortunately, my, illustrious knowledge of economics and Japanese is not going to get me very far in fluid dynamics and the understanding thereof. Teacher, I know. Alright, Miss Matsunaga. In order to use buoyancy to rise or sink, the weight of the elevator must exceed the buoyancy for the object to sink, or vice versa. That's correct. Yep, you lost me. You figured it out too, kid, right? That would be a hard no, Captain. Am I supposed to lie? I feel like I'm supposed to lie and pretend that I have any idea what's going on. Sure, I got it. Yeah, you mean Archimedes' principle, right? What's Archimedes' principle? The buoyancy of a submerged object is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by the object. That sounds plausible? Right now, the buoyancy of the elevator is exactly balanced with the elevator's weight. So if we make the elevator heavier, it will outweigh the buoyancy and the elevator will sink. Okay, see, that makes sense. That, like, makes intuitive sense. I don't know physics, but heavy thing go down is, like, within the realm of things that I can understand. Wow, good work, you two. What brains. You patted our heads as she praised us. I feel like I'm being condescended to. Smart girl. Not like some other people here. Hey now. So the reason that A won't sink yet is that it's not heavy enough, right? Yeah, we need to find something heavy. We split up and went in search of a thing we could use as weights. And several minutes later... Takeshi was carrying a massive potting plant. Heave ho! Heave ho! You brought a plaster ornament. And I brought a magazine holder and a bundle of magazines from the security office. I don't know how far that's gonna get you. And Sarah... Heave. Pull. Sarah, that's... What in the name of... Sarah was dragging a massive tuna. Like, real tuna? Because that would be super funny. What happened to that? It was in the corridor over there. I guess it probably washed out from the kitchen fridge during the flood. Oh my god, it's an actual tuna. That's hilarious. It's a little cold, but it's okay, right? Oh god, we even get a CG for the tuna? That's beautiful. What a time to be alive. So the four of us packed ourselves into A and cradling a frozen tuna headed down to Dwight Stock. A began to inch down ever so slowly. Peeking through the window and into the blue, we could see the outside of Limu. The blue gradually got darker and the steel bulkhead appeared to move farther away upward. See, now your issue, though, is presumably some percent of you are going to leave the elevator when you get to the point you're trying to get to, right? And even if you leave the tuna in the elevator to weigh it down, presumably all of you leaving the elevator will be enough weight taken off of the elevator that starts to, like, float up again, right? So what happens if you just get stranded? Like, I guess you're just banking super hard on being able to turn the generator back on, right? Because otherwise, like, I feel like it's a very small corner of Limu that you're currently accessing via the elevator, right? It's like just the generator room. So you probably starve to death if you get trapped. Nah, that's not actually true. People starve to death in, what, 30 days? And you're gonna die from dehydration in 3, but even without that, you're gonna die from the facility exploding in 5. Okay, so you're probably not gonna starve to death. Glad we got that concern out of the way. The blue gradually got darker, and the steel bulkhead appeared to move farther away upward. Remember, kids, it's only awkward if you let it be awkward. We were silent during that time. What was there really to talk about? No, actually, you did say one thing. Hey, wasn't catching dolphins for food banned under some international treaty? That sounds familiar, yeah? It seemed that you was having trouble with the difference between a dolphin and a tuna. Well, you see, dolphins are cute. Tuna aren't. No one tried to answer her. I decided not to think about anything. Still, that is a large tuna. I didn't even know that tuna came that big. Brightstock Sector 7 was another area sealed off because of flooding. That was where we got off. Once the 4 of us holding the tuna got off, A lost its baggage and floated up to his white stock again. See, this is what I was concerned about. Oh no, what do we do? We can't get back now. No problem. There is one more AI. A. I checked it, and it has stopped on this floor. Okay. Thank goodness. But wait, if it stopped on this floor, then how are you going to, like, reduce the weight enough to get it to float up? Right? Because, like, if it's stuck here as of right now, then once all 4 of you are in it, then, like, it's gonna be even worse, right? Like, and presumably it's not full of stuff. I don't know. Seems dubious. Oh, that surprised the heck out of me. If there wasn't another one, there's no way the 4 of us would ever come down here. You sure? You seem pretty petrified with fear yourself. Zip it. I don't want any more lip from you. Alright, enough of that. Let's get going. We put the frozen tuna down and began walking toward the generator room. This side of the arena was also inundated with water from the flood. It was still bathed in darkness. Blue light from the surface dimly pierced through the small round windows, making a wave-like shadow on the floor. The 4 of us relied on that and our flashlight as we proceeded deeper and deeper into the complex. Hey, wait up! When we turned a corner, we heard Takeshi call out from behind us. What are you doing? Hurry up! No dawdling or we'll leave you behind. I'll show you dawdling. This toolbox weighs a ton! Looking back, there was Takeshi with the toolbox on the floor and breathing hard. Jeez, give me a break. Kid, give him a hand. Alright. I hurried to where Takeshi was. Takeshi, I'll help you. Thanks. Take it from that side. Okay. The 2 of us took the toolbox from both sides. Whew! Thanks. I thought my arms would fall off carrying it all alone. Quite exaggerating. Oh, Takeshi, watch out. There's a bump sticking out there. Whoa! That was close. Takeshi was just able to right himself. Phew! That surprised the bejesus out of me. I just about fell down. Glad you noticed that, kid. Being so dark and everything. Good job. Huh? Really think it's that dark? Takeshi, maybe you've got bad night vision. Could be. Gotta get the vitamin A, man. What is it that causes that? Lack of vitamin A or something? I hate liver and carrots. Hey now, carrots are delicious. You shouldn't be so picky. Finally, as we caught up with you and Sarah, we reached our destination. Yellow and black stripes appeared dimly ahead. This it? This is the generator room? There was a plate with information on the front of the door, but it was too dark to read. I mean, that's why flashlights were invented, right? I'll take a look. You reach toward the door handle. Wait! Instinctively, I grabbed Yu's arm. What? What is it? Takeshi and Sarah stared at me questioningly. Like, are we concerned that the door is gonna zap her? What's the matter? The thing is... I couldn't find the words to reply. I wondered why I had said what I had... I didn't really know. Yet somehow... If you don't know what's going on inside, don't you think it might be dangerous to just open the door? I was just rattling off what popped into my mind. This feels really weird. Like, that feels like a really weird thing to get, like, instinctive about, right? Like, that makes me think that Kid has some sort of prior knowledge about this situation, whether or not he remembers it himself. Just because, like, that's a weird thing to get hung up on, even if he's right. And, like, you shouldn't open doors like that randomly. Like, in fact, even more so if he's right. No, I hadn't even thought it. It just seemed to jump from my throat before anything else. Kind of like when you snap your hand back after touching a hot stove. I just reflexively blurted it out. What do you mean? You wasn't buying it. I took my hand from Yu's arm and searched for words. At that moment, it's kind of like this. If a pipe carrying hot water burst, then the room could be full of hot steam, maybe. Sarah took up the slack in my explanation. Oh, I see. While I sensed danger, I couldn't express in words what it might be. The three of us nodded, satisfied. Okay, let's give it a try. She placed his hand to the wet floor. He went to place his damn fingers on the door. Droplets sizzled, evaporating away. That's not good. It's true. It was just like Sarah had said. Wow, that was pretty sharp, kid. Yeah. I replied, but I hadn't known it would be dangerous either. The one who had known was a separate someone inside me. Uh-oh, split personality disorder, here we come. That someone had simply borrowed my voice. What had happened was so strange it made me feel out of place in my own skin. Anyway, with things as they stand, there's no going inside. Oh, shoot. I'll say. First off, let's close off all the valves for pipes sending hot water to the generator room. If we stop the flow of hot water, then steam should stop flowing into the room. Valves? Where are those? In the room next door. Down one more corridor that way. It won't require that many people. Just me and one more person to help. Alright, leave it to me. Huh? Takeshi? Hey, what's wrong with me? It's just that if we were alone, I'm afraid you'll do something. Maybe I should help? Oh, no, that's okay. Mayo, you wait here. Oh, I see. So you're, like, afraid that Takeshi's gonna mess with you if he goes alone with you, but you're just fine leaving your friend, alone with him? Wow. Cold. Hey, kid, so what are you gonna do? Huh? Me? Alright, let's see. Check the flowchart. This is, I think, a relevant decision. It says if I wait here, I set WH, which is a flag for something. Okay, so if I hit WH, it gives me the option of going to Sarah's route later, which I'm not emotionally invested in, so I'll just help you. I'll help you. I think I'm already locked out of Sarah's route for this playthrough, but I think I can get the good end for Yu's route, based on my understanding of the flowchart. I'll help you. Okay, in that case, Sarah and I will hold down the fort here. You can't complain about that, right? Okay. Jeez, damned if I do, damned if I don't. It seemed that Takeshi was oblivious to his disturbing dream the night before. Oh, yeah, right, okay. Reasonable. I figure that Yu is concerned about you in her own way. Like when she had you carry the heavy toolbox. Maybe it's her way of saying rest a bit, or take it easy. You think so? That's a pretty generous interpretation, I'd say. Oh well. In that case, I guess Sarah and I will have to sit back and relax. Together. Takeshi tried to pat Sarah on the shoulder, but she dodged the advance. Oh, you probably don't want to do that. Hmm? I'm a licensed TaotheNinja. What's that? It means, if you value your life, you'd better stay back. Sarah? Are you feeling quite alright now? Like, do you need some water? You need something to eat, maybe? Because you're not making any sense. Kid, should we get going? Yeah. You and I left the increasingly tense atmosphere behind. The room was covered in a massive web of pipes. The pipes continued into the adjacent generator room. It seemed that by opening and closing the valves, the water and oil pressure could be adjusted. Normally, Lemma is responsible for maintaining the generator room, but even Lemma can't do much when the generator itself goes out. Anyway, this is all because the power supply is down. This room is designed so that maintenance can be performed manually at times like this, or during blackouts. That was what you told me. You selected one pipe from the countless rows of them and instructed me to close its valves. As instructed, I turned the valve around and around. Hey, you? I said this as I was closing the valve. What? It's about the girl from yesterday. Yesterday? You mean the 7th survivor you said you saw? Yeah. You sure your eyes weren't playing tricks on you? I'm positive. These eyes saw her. Maybe you've got some kind of eye disease. I don't know why they're all so, like, hesitant to believe what he says. Like, it's not that hard to believe that there would be a 7th person in here, right? Disease? I'm kidding, it's a joke. Why do you always take everything seriously? Enough already! Alright. I'll listen to your stories of unidentified survivors later. Right now we have to work. Finally, the valve was completely shut. That should do it. Can we talk now? Let's get back to Takeshi and Sarah. You took off from the room as if she were a fugitive on the run. I was left in the room alone. I felt an unclear mess of feelings stewing inside my mind. With this, we would be able to shut off the hot water flowing to the generator room. Even so, on the other side of the door, it was still hot enough to scald. The four of us waited outside the generator room until we could be sure that the temperature inside had cooled enough. When we thought the time had come, we timidly opened the door. It was like opening the door to a steam bath. A cloud of steam hissed out of the door. The heat inside just about defied imagination. The air in the steam-filled room was heavy and stuck to the skin. Inhaling felt like swallowing globs of sticky hot steam. Takeshi was opening and closing his mouth like a fish out of water. Isn't it hard to breathe? Stop pointing out the obvious. Talking about it just makes it worse. Nakyu, let's just do what we have to do and get out of here. Alright, let's divide up what we have to do and be efficient about this. I'll be here. Takeshi, can I get you to go over there? Kid, I want you to... And so we got to work fixing the generator. How does she just, like, randomly know how to fix the generator? I feel like that's not a standard day-to-day skill, right? Like, if you stuck me in front of a broken generator and told me, fix this or you, like, don't get power in the, like, underwater facility you're trapped in, I would probably just give up after half an hour. I'd, like, poke at some things, and then I'd look for a manual, and then I wouldn't find one, and I would give up. And I would just live in darkness. Takeshi and you did the bulk of the work. I guess she works here, but if I remember correctly, she's like a guide, right? She doesn't have any... Her job does not involve the generator in any meaningful capacity. So why does she know how to fix the generator? I'm super confused. There wasn't much for Sarah and me to do, because we were helpless when it came to machines. Takeshi and Sarah were working on the other side of the generator. Yu was doing battle with the machine and depending on my flashlight wielding skills. With nothing much to do, my mind started wandering. And of course, they led right to the girl that had disappeared. I just couldn't believe that I imagined the whole thing. Hey, I've thought a lot about it. What? About the girl. What, you still stuck on that? Just listen. Maybe that girl... Maybe she's a ghost. I'm gonna go with not incredibly plausible, but... If thinking that she's a ghost helps you sleep better at night, then more power to you. Huh? You gave me a fed-up look, shook her head, and went back to work. It's gotta be it. That would explain why the numbers changed so regularly, and why she vanished all of a sudden. That's stupid. Listen, I'm serious. No. If you were talking about something serious, I would take you serious. But I'm not listening seriously to something like this. Stupidity is contagious. It's like multiplication of pluses and minuses. A plus times a plus is a plus. But a minus times a plus is a minus. So, pass me that minus-like screwdriver, would you? I suppressed my anger and put the flathead screwdriver in Yu's hand. Okay then, you don't have to listen seriously. Just listen to me stupidly. What's that mean, listen stupidly? It's multiplication, right? A minus times a minus is a plus, right? I mean, you can't refute his logic. He's not wrong, per se. Like, the things that he said was, like, technically correct, which, as Futurama tells us, is the best kind of correct. I see. Alright then, I'll listen to the stupid stuff you've got to say until I finish screwing in these screws. So, what is it you're dying to say? It's about the girl that disappeared. If she were a ghost... Hold on, now, do you really believe in ghosts? I wouldn't say believe, but believe in the possibility. 0. That is what possibility there is. 0.0000000000000000001% maybe? How do you know? You sighed and started turning the next screw. Listen, ghost stories now and forever are almost all made up. They're just fiction with the goal of entertaining people. Haven't you ever felt somebody's eyes on you when you're in a room all alone? Eyes. Yeah, like someone was watching you from behind. You mean your mom? Being serious? Oh, never mind. Things like that are just your imagination. No, it could be the government is spying on you. They have cameras everywhere. You never know when they're watching, when they're listening. A product of an overzealous mind. An illusion spawned by the mental state of the person. You mean my mind is playing tricks on me? To be perfectly blunt, yes. UFOs and goblins are the same thing. People like to imagine stuff. Thanks to the power of imagination, people have been able to evolve to where we are, but it's kind of a curse, too. Taken to extremes, there's no distinguishing between reality and illusions. When you turn on the lights, the ghost is only a sheet on a chair. People who want to be scared see what they want. If you really want to believe that something exists, even if it doesn't, then you still feel that it does. If you're scared of something, you'll scare yourself even if there's nothing there. Is this choice relevant? Doesn't look like it. Let me give up. I wasn't satisfied, but I'd learned something. I couldn't beat you in a debate. So, doesn't look like you're convinced. You can't convince me. I know I saw her. I mean, that's not what she was trying to convince you against. She was trying to convince you against the existence of ghosts. Not the existence of this pink-haired girl. At least I saw something. Don't go telling me you have special powers to spirits or anything either. You're not gonna say it, right? Alright. But no spinning your head around 360 degrees or spewing out ectoplasmic goo, alright? And no supernatural tricks or channeling spirits either. Because if a poltergeist gets loose around here, the screws I just put in could fall out. That's, very pragmatic. You is starting to grow on me. I initially was annoyed at her because of her voice and, her antics, but her down-to-earth personality has a certain charm to it. I'm not believing this stuff. You sure know a lot about it. It's because I don't believe in it that I know a lot. My knowledge is not for defensive purposes. It's for offensive ones. Huh? You mean... I mean, there are those people who swear by ghosts, the supernatural, UFOs, and that occult stuff. They're completely loony. My knowledge is so I can take them down when I meet them. I've stocked up on enemy information for my verbal assaults. That's the reason I majored in archaeology. Archaeology? Archaeology? I thought that was about digging, looking for artifacts, ruins, and deciphering ancient letters. That kind of stuff, right? Well, maybe. You studying archaeology, it just didn't click. So what are you studying? I'm not doing anything that big. I'm still a freshman, so I'm only taking basic stuff. I just listen to Professor's lecture and go on excavation surveys. I'm still getting the fundamentals of what is archaeology pounded into my head. Oh, that reminds me. Speaking of archaeology, have you ever heard of the continent Lemuria? It seems like that's the origin of Limu's name. Have I heard of it? I know so much about it, it makes me nuts. Huh? Lemuria is the phantom continent that is said to have existed from 200 million to 50 million years BC. On it thrived an advanced civilization that was more advanced than what we have today, but overnight it just slipped down to the bottom of the ocean. You recited it off so fluently that it sounded like she was reading from a textbook. Advanced civilization. Overnight, huh? That sounds just like... There's some scholars that contend that this continent was the origin of mankind. But what could they be talking about? That could never happen. You don't believe it? Of course not. Archaeologically and geologically, the idea has no basis. The more real research is conducted, the more the theory is shot full of holes. It's no longer a legitimate field of study. Is that right? Reality is different than a fairy tale. Religion's like that too. Any and all those mysterious things that people get all worked up about. They're mostly all make-believe. They're all impossible to prove, so who cares what they say? That's the philosophy behind it. I thought that maybe precisely because there was no evidence for or against that what people said was actually packed with meaning. I felt like because those words were the only foothold, the only way to really... I felt like that because those words were the only foothold, the only way to really nail down reality. I absently thought about this for a minute. This screw is really tight. Let me try. We switched places and I tried twisting the screw into place. How I'm beat. My shoulders are stiff and everything. You twisted and stretched. Her back popped loudly. Hey, you know what we were just talking about? What was that? Oh, Lemuria? Yeah. Kid, you're not one of those people that get all into those stories, are you? I don't know about that. But since we've got time to kill, just humor me. Alright, alright. What is it? Okay. I wonder if Lemuria angered God and he sent it to the bottom of the ocean. Kid? Are you feeling quite alright? I mean, if the people of Lemuria had such an advanced civilization, maybe God struck them down for their pride or something. You mean like Tower of Babel style? Huh? You? Hello? This is bad. Danger, danger. I'm putting myself in danger of being dragged into lunacy with you. Stupid, stupid. Alright, I should be fine now. Okay, I see what you're saying. You're saying it was like the Tower of Babel, right? Tower of Babel? In the Old Testament, in Genesis, there's a story about this tower. In it, people are so proud of their achievements that they built this super high tower, this massive structure that almost reached to heaven. But God was angered by their behavior. God said, I will bring down their pride together with the trickery of their hands. They're impudent. So God took it upon himself to destroy the tower and the building stopped, and people spread to all corners of the earth. That's the story of the Tower of Babel. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I nodded without stopping my work. That would have to be the work of a god like Shiva. Shiva? God of destruction and creation. One of the main 3 Hindu gods. He has more than 1,000 names, 4 arms, 4 faces, and 3 eyes. He destroys the world for purposes of creation. Wait, I'm not super up to date on Hindu, like, mythology. Is it 3 eyes total or 3 eyes on each face? Because 3 eyes total across 4 faces would be super creepy. It would just be a face with no eyes. The destruction is so thorough that in it is contained the seeds or possibility of the next generation. Kind of like starting from square one is better than fixing something halfway? Probably something like that. So if Lemuria had pissed off a god enough to sink it into the ocean, then that god would probably have demolished it. Oh, I see. A god that would purge the world of filth by destroying it. A god that damned people drunk with pride and forced rebirth. Look, you're slowing down. Hurry up and finish up. I'm already done. I had finished putting in all of the screws. Next, tighten these bolts. I handed the screwdriver to her and took the wrench. Somewhere along the line, I'd been put in charge of the work. When you pointed the flashlight near me, I saw 3 bolts in the shape of a triangle. Did you say that Shiva has 3 eyes? Yep. That means... I put the wrench between my eyebrows. Do you have another eye right up here, then? That's right. The light from the 3rd eye burns all in the world, purifying it. Man, that's super metal. Wow, that sounds pretty cool. I said that as I tightened the top bolt. But I bet a visit to the optometrist would be a pain. You have to buy another lens, the optometrist would love it. I thought to myself that making the custom frame is what would cost a fortune, but I didn't dare say it. That's enough of that. But the idea of a 3rd eye is not limited to Shiva. It also exists in the world of Buddhism and yoga. Clairvoyance, telescopic vision, ghost sense, the gift of the prophet, power of seeing the past or future. There are a lot of explanations behind it. Some say that it is a gift from the gods, others say you can acquire it from intensive training. But what they all have in common is, when the 3rd eye opens, true wisdom is apparent and all becomes visible. They all have something to do with transcending the realm of the human, becoming superhuman somehow. Real wisdom. Muttering that, I turned to face the bolt again. If I had that, I'd be able to get my memory back. Yeah, right. If there really is such a thing, I want one. Don't we all, dude? You want what? A 3rd eye? Yeah, if I had one, maybe I could see my past. Maybe I'd know who that girl is. Anyway, I'd like to see what it's like. Hey, you and me both, dude. You want to see? Yeah, maybe I could see something. Shall I give you a look then? What? I looked up, and there was Yu's face. When did she get so close? We were at a distance where we could just about feel each other's breath. The tips of our noses just about touched. That's how close her face was. You? You want to see, right? You stared me in the eye as she said this. I couldn't speak. My legs shook. My heart was beating as fast as it would go. It felt like it would jump right out of my chest. Is she, like, trying to get his eyes to go out of focus so that you see the world? Because, like, that's a thing you can do, right? If you, like, focus on something super close to you, your eyes go out of focus. Now take a good look. You lifted up her bangs and placed her finger on her forehead. Okay, never mind. It's completely different. Right here, isn't it? The third eye. On Yu's face, there was nothing. All I could think about was her nice skin and sweet smell. Hey now, dude, don't go getting distracted by mundane things. We're trying to achieve enlightenment here. You grabbed your stomach, laughing. Wait, she was trolling us? Alright, I'm sold on this chick. I did not like her earlier, but I like her now. Huh? What? It's a joke! A joke! What? That was too funny. Who else would take that completely seriously? You're the best. You're so mean, you. You tease me even though you know how serious I am. I mean, in fairness, you're being a dumbass. Sorry, oh, I'm sorry, but you keep saying one bizarre thing after another, so I just couldn't help playing a joke on you. Besides, what I said wasn't really a lie anyway. Saying that, you pointed to her forehead again. What do you mean? I wonder why we had two eyes. Common knowledge had it that physically 2 eyes were enough for gauging the distance to a point or focusing on something. What would it be like if we really used to have 3 eyes? Actually, the animal ancestors of vertebrates had 3 eyes. Early species of primitive reptiles. Like the Tuatara lizard that still has a 3rd eye on top of its head. Wait, is that a real thing? Alright, I'm gonna look this up. Tuatara lizard. Google images. I'm definitely not seeing a 3rd eye on any of these. I'm definitely only seeing 2 eyes. I feel really cheated right now. What a cruel world we live in. I just wanted a lizard with 3 eyes. The 3rd eye. The organ has a similar function to the eyeball and lies on top of the head. This organ would be sensitive to the light of the outside world and control internal hormone secretion and balance based on light. An eye on the crest of one's head would stare straight up. It seems safe to say that it would sense the difference in light between night and day. A right eye, a left eye, and one above. An eye on top of the head to stare at the sky. Only we people and higher vertebrates had lost the 3rd eye over the long process of evolution. It had been covered over by the cerebrum and we lost the ability to sense light directly. Therefore, we had 2 light-sensitive eyeballs, one on each side instead. This lost 3rd eye was called the pineal body. This had functioned in the brain for eons and was responsible for secreting hormones that helped carve out a 24-hour rhythm. What we called our internal clocks existed because of this pineal body. That was essentially the rundown that you gave me as I was tightening the bolts. So the 3rd eye in terms of human anatomical science is really no big deal. It's just an organ we lost through evolution, and evolution is a cruel mistress. You mean like an appendix or the webbing between fingers? That's exactly what I mean. I finished with the bolt. I mean, granted, an eye on top of your head seems super impractical, but, like, I still feel cheated. Okay, well then our work here is done. Ah, I'm tired. You stretched as she said this. I put both hands on my waist and stretched. We were both drenched in sweat. Hey, I was wondering... What? That occult stuff that you were just telling me about is for offensive purposes, too? Well, it's not really for offensive or defensive use. It's just a load of useless knowledge. Still, I can't very well just throw it away. Maybe it has completely rooted itself into my brain. But you planted it there yourself, right? No way. My mom's the guilty one. Your mom? Yeah, my mom's an archaeology researcher. Apparently she's an expert in the ancient concept of the 3rd eye. Anyway, when I was little, instead of lullabies, she told me all these 3rd eye stories. What? That is, you know, I can't say I'm familiar with that method of, child rearing. Wow. The 3rd eye. How about that? I wondered if the 3rd eye could be related to something. I doubt it. I mean, I don't doubt it because they've spent now, like, 12 minutes going on about it. So, presumably it's relevant in some capacity to the plot, if only in, like, metaphoric capacity. But I have the, like, sinking suspicion that it's not directly relevant to the plot. I thought I would ask about potential connections, but my body and mind were completely drained. Oh well, I'll save it for next time. I used to hate archaeology. You sighed as she said this. But one day I just woke up and found myself in the archaeology department. Like mother, like daughter? It's not that simple. Yu's shoulders slumped and she let go of a deep sigh again. It's like some kind of curse. Soon after that, it looked like Takeshi and Sarah had finished their work as well. Well, it had turned into an adventure, but at least we had finished the repairs. It was just like Sarah had said. The cause of the blackout was the opening of the safety valve due to the drop in air pressure. When pressure from the steam becomes excessive, the valve automatically opens to release the gas and prevent damage. Normally, after release of surplus gas, the valve is designed to shut naturally, but we're only at 1 atmosphere. Because the safety valve never closed, the steam continued leaking. Anyway, that was the gist of the explanation. We left the generator room and went to the pipe room. There, we opened the valve we had closed before the repairs, and returned to the generator room. So should we try to fire it up? Takeshi whispered the question as we stood in front of the generator switch. I'm turning it on. Sarah, you and I nodded silently. You ready? Let's do it. Pipe down, kid. How about a countdown? 50 seconds to... Huh? From 50? 45 seconds to... Takeshi continued, ignoring her. Takeshi, that's too long. 40, 39, 38. It was irritating. 37, 36, 35. So irritating. 34. Click. All 3 of us, except Takeshi, pushed the button. Hey, what are you doing? We still have 34 seconds to go. Nobody wants to wait 34 seconds. Somebody had to push it. You guys can't even wait a little more than a simple 30 seconds? Why wait? This is kind of like a ritual. Anyway, it's very important. The lights lit up all at once. And on that exciting note, I will close the video. I'll catch you all tomorrow. Peace.